planes, everything. We have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host English News every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsman on the global earth. Together, the name of Wolfers stands for as a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show. Today with me is my dear friend, Mr. Chris Chahinian, former candidate for California Senate for the 39th District. And of course, he never stops for a moment working for the community and with the community for the benefit for the community. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Chris has a heart. And I came to know him about 2 or 3 years ago. The moment I saw him, I knew that he is a man of knowledge. It was not until much later when we collide on certain subjects. That was the homeless issue.
That was like feeding the.
I saw his tears in the
hungry.
eye. I saw the emotion. I saw the human heart. Since that moment on, I recognize him as a man of likelihood.
Thank you.
And
Thank
a
you,
man
Jack.
of the same kind of love. I call it a broad love. So for that, I feel we're getting closer and closer. And also politically, I was not a supporter for Donald Trump in the early days. Quite before, I was even on the left-hand side. And it was during the years after seeing so many, I started to move from the left to the right. And my friend Chris was almost the same thing. I recall those early days when I put together some debate. He was on the left-hand side. And now he and I, once again, the likelihood works that we move ourselves, we shift ourselves from the left to, not to the right. Well, we're talking about to the middle.
Choose the American side, basically.
To the American side, to the fair side.
Yeah.
So for that, I would like to extend my special welcome
Thank
to
you.
Right.
Thank you, Jack. Let me begin, number one, by expressing my sincere love to the people of China and what they are going through. We as Americans would like to extend our hand to the people of China, what they're going through. It's a heartbreaking. And my thoughts are prayer with you, with Chinese people. And we love the Chinese people. We're praying for the best outcome. Every day we see the numbers of casualty going up. It's our hearts start bleeding from a pain. And a couple of days ago, we had this discussion about this deadly virus, how much affecting people, and our heart goes for the people that are affected by this. But at the same time that Jack was mentioning, one time we were crying on this TV show about feeding the hungry and homeless, and I saw the similar tears coming from Jack's eyes Friday when we start talking about the coronavirus.
All right.
His heart was exploding from the pain for his people. And he told me something very, very important. He said, Chris, first time I felt that I never left China.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Chinese. And I told him, you are a Chinese. We call ourselves Chinese American or Armenian American or Asian American, but we still are most part.
The origin
is
the root.
we are attached to our roots.
Yeah, you're from Lebanon. I'm from China. We're so rooted, right? It is true, my dear friend. I physically left China for almost 40 years. And one generation, my son is 40 years old now, right? I wasn't realize I did not leave China until the pandemic happens, until I heard about Wuhan, even on day one. And the other day I saw my friend Chris with tears in eyes when addressing his message to Wuhan people, say, Wuhan, we are together with you. We're behind. We love you. We pray for you. Our thoughts are with you. I was crying. I realized it was that moment that I never left China, right? God bless, right? Okay. Back to the subject today. Another
Heartbreaking
subject,
issue.
Heartbreaking fact that we pray to God for blessing. Once again, we want to say, God bless America. For us that we are so divided, we are never divided like this. What happened was that, what triggers the show was that day right after the State of the Union address made by Donald Trump last Tuesday, I conducted an interview, both overnight and the next day. I altogether interviewed 4 different people, and they were elected officials. Purposely, I handpicked 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. What didn't surprise me was that, of course, I hear 180 degrees different views about the same speech, about the same State of the Union address. That doesn't surprise me, from the left and from the right. And the second day, which is daytime, I ask myself, do people always think that way? What the average Joe would think, average Sue, average Peter, average Kevin would think about the State of the Union address. Matter of fact, it's a diagnostic record of our country. Once again, I conducted a second interview. This time, handpicked randomly, blindly, any people of no partisan at all. Right? They are really the average Joes, average Sues, average Mark, average Kevin people. However, what did surprise me was that all the four showed one concern, if I quote unanimously, say, it is dangerous to keep a country so divided. I pick up the phone, I called my friend Chris. I said, Chris, I'll have to share with you. You and I have to share this with our audiences. This is where we're from now. So how do you feel when I tell you?
You said it right. Our republic is in danger. As much as this statement sounds alarming, but it is the reality. And I watch the State of the Union.
So did I.
And I was anxious to see what the outcome is going to be on that State of the Union. And I watched for the last 35 years all the State of Unions, one after, even during ups and downs, during the Clinton impeachment, during the Bush era, when Bush called axis of evil, Iran or a couple of countries. And we watched, but there was civility. There was some part of the speech of any president last 50 years, their two-party stand up, applause for
the standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
Wow, 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 that kind of thing.
And that's kind of America we have seen last century maybe. But for the first time in my life, I was freeze on my chair for 90 minutes watching the State of Union,
The whole thing.
and analyzing the body language. And a camera was doing very good, pinpointing certain elected officials when they start expressing their anger, their frustration, their fear, or their cheer for the other side when the president was punching a line of statement to hurt the half of the country. President Trump's speech was very well organized, I have to tell you.
Okay.
Like a TV production.
I agree.
Production. Some of the moment I was crying from when I saw.
Yeah, let me insert a little thing. I would say, from a point of literature, it was well done.
Very well done.
From a point of political speech, it was very well delivered,
Yes.
right? And
But the
I would say-
substance was.
Yeah.
The spirit was.
Yeah, the spirit, the substance, the basics are there.
Yes.
That we all give them a positive kind of like remark, right? Go ahead.
But in all this, I was, living moment by moment when the serviceman came, hug his kid for the first time for 8 months. I was like crying because
Yeah.
that's what America
So
is.
touching.
That's America is.
Yes.
But at the same time, my heart start pumping harder because I start seeing its division is getting wider, bigger. And then some of the Congress members, they left the room and chanting like,
Yes.
that was the moment I say, you know what?
All right, let's take
We
a
are
short moment out.
running out of time.
We'll pick up the moments when we come back. Stay with us, please.
Le bijou icône de Philippe Wolfers qui date de 1902. Il faut la regarder contre la lumière pour avoir toutes les couleurs de ce bijou qui est extraordinaire. Avec les opales, c'est un thème très à la mode, à la période Art Nouveau. On voit en argenterie, mais aussi en peinture. Et ça a à voir aussi quelque chose un peu symbolique. Un libellule, c'est très belle quand on la voit de loin, mais quand on l'approche, c'est comme un dragon en anglais. On dit un dragonfly.
C'est une des grandes figures de l'Art Nouveau. Et cette pièce, mieux que n'importe quelle autre, témoigne de sa virtuosité. L'opulence, le raffinement, les courbes et les couleurs, et puis le thème aussi, qui raconte une époque. Libellule a été réinterprétée, plus légère, mais c'est bien à son aïeul qu'elle fait référence, une pièce désormais accessible à tous, puisqu'elle est passée de la boutique au musée.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audience, and welcome back to the East West. That is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of #1 craftsmen on the global earth. Altogether, the name of Wolfers stands as a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show, back to my friend Chris Chahinian, a political commentator, former candidate for California Senate, and a lover to the community and a servant to the community, and somebody I show lots of respect, somebody who share the likelihoodness of minds with me for years. So back on the points of your comment though, I did myself pay attention to step by step for these particular moment, right? So you're talking about the military serviceman hugging and showing their emotions of their love to the country, and the President of the United States showing his appreciation for their services to the country, to the freedom whatsoever. I believe President Donald Trump did not pick a guy to favor the guy, right? And the guy himself did not do it for President Donald Trump. He did it for the country. Was that clear?
I think, again, as you said earlier, which side are you looking at this event, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
And let me just go back. And after the speech over, when Speaker of the House tear that paper, and I was sitting, I jumped from my chair.
I was shocked.
I jumped from my chair. I said, the Republic is in danger. The Republic, our country is in danger. If anybody in this United States...
Let me tell you a joke. I was so shameful myself of having done what I did. I had my son, 2 sons, eating dinner with me that very night when that speech was being delivered, right? While during the whole process, I kind of like an educator talking to my son, say, look, right? Nancy Pelosi was the one worked all the way to the impeachment, right? And now she's standing there, wah, 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 clapping her hands. So I told my son, right, say, see, this is America. And that's why I came here. That's why you were born here. That's why you came along with me here. Something like that.
Yeah.
Right? That was towards the end. Just at that moment, my elder son says to me, Dad, did you see that? That was the moment.
And honestly, Jack, that was the moment
of Nancy Pelosi ripping off the transcript and gave a comment that I did not hear clearly. And the next morning, when I double checked with the news, it says mistruth, manifesto of mistruth, something like that, whatsoever. How do you comment of that moment?
Well, when I saw that, this is what I felt. I saw in front of my eye vanishing everything we believed in as far as America. Dignity, pride, honesty, self-sustain, and all this I saw, it's vanishing in front of my eye.
I felt a slam on my face.
Yes, and if anybody in the United States, Democrat, Republican, if you think this is like easy to just one State of the Union, I have a news for you. No. If some Democrat, they think this is, this is the message that we send by ripping to the Republican that, we cannot stand you. Or if you're a Republican, you think, this is the way presidents should punch in their face. I have a news for you. There's a big dark cloud gathering in front of Washington, D.C., and that cloud could turn to the blood.
When Mitt Romney lost to Barack Obama, in 5 minutes, he called Obama, confirmed that Obama was the president of the United States.
True.
His support. When Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump, and she did the same thing.
Kind of. Not exactly.
Kind of the same thing.
She waited long 12 hours to do that.
Not as strong, not as strong. However, the same thing. With this thing, our beloved Speaker of the House, what she did, you know what? If I haven't checked with my son is on anthropology. He cares about his reputation. Well, probably I give him apology to quote from him without asking. You know what he says? Act of a housewife. A housewife act.
And,
not a politician.
I want to be very careful on my statement. I don't want to target one person, Trump, or I think every American citizen they should start thinking, you know, what the hell is going on in this country. And if you think, you know, this is the time to, you know, put a good article to, you know, people subscribe, or to put a half an hour TV show targeting left, all right, you know, people cheer you up, you know, this is not the time. We are playing with fire. This is very serious, Jack.
Let's back up for several steps, right? Even if whatever Donald Trump says was not 100% right, even if Donald Trump was overclaiming his credit, right? Even if he was lying somewhere here and that, at least there are something that is so obvious that everybody can see. Okay, now, the unemployment rate, was that a record low?
Yes, it
Right?
is record low. And this is, I think, again, Jack, it's
Our
not the
economy-
fact. It's not the fact that we're fighting.
Our
It's not the
economy,
fact.
is that record high?
It is record.
The stock exchange record, is that record high? At least on those three issues.
Those are not. If could be probably exaggerated a little, but you know the fact is fact.
Yeah, I
but I
understand.
think that's the issue. Is not about fact. There was no. It was the frustration of what. It was not about what Trump was doing done last year.
Mm-hmm.
Frustration was deeper than that. Ideological different. You know we have people they think two different way. Two different ideologies we have in America. That's when you saw the line between the Republican and it was clear division, clear. I never seen this before, and that's what I'm saying. It's dangerous roadmap that we are going. We are walking in a landmine, and
I was
landmine.
so ashamed that very night when my son says that you're so naive. This is the politics. And I did convince that to myself that I am naive. And one of my sons, I mean the elder son, says that even if Donald Trump says the moon is a sphere, somebody will point out, no, that's a cubic.
Absolutely right.
Is that kind of a
That's kind
point
of
already?
that kind of division we have now.
Yes.
And we cannot deny that. And Democrats they can say, yeah, we have the right, you know, we are the people, you know, we're defending Constitution. Ask the Republicans, they say the same thing. We're defending Constitution. But none of them are defending Constitution. I think
What
we
is
are
Constitution?
destroying our country in the name of Constitution.
Okay, I went back to consult the definition of State of the Union address, right? Of all the resources that I consulted, the State of the Union address is an annual statement made by the President for the purpose of encouraging people to go on forward.
True? Absolutely right.
That is the only thing. During election years whatsoever, there might be some overclaiming of one's own credit, might be overdone. Okay, yeah, just to check it off.
Check it off, and that's why you have, you know, right after State of Union, the other party comes in opposition and give his statement.
Give it a smile, and chuckle it off. That's it.
Yeah.
That's politics.
But I think we passed that stage, Jack. I have to admit that, you know, we are not at the same time that, you know, when our founding father, they put this constitution. I remember, and if you look to the Benjamin Franklin statement, when he asked him what kind of government, you know, we support, he said Republican if we can keep it. If we can keep it. And a constitution, there's no constitution in the world that can sustain himself, can keep himself. The constitution is the base that we can evolve, we can modify, we can change it, we can make
There
it.
is no system so beautiful like ours so far.
If we can keep it.
Hitherto. If you want to keep it.
If
right?
we can keep it, the problem. And now we are going to that era that, you know, I feel like we are looking United States, if we don't take bold steps, we're going to look to our history, we're going to look like a Roman Empire when they start falling apart.
That's why me and my team decided to use this as the title for today's show. It is dangerous to keep a country so divided. All right, my dear friends, let's take a short moment out. We come back to continue talking about the comments of my friends who I interviewed.
Go ahead.
Right? Probably that will give you another handle.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Everything we have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. My dear fellow citizens, men and women of the United States. As long as you are over 18, as long as you are qualified to say something about politics, as long as you are qualified to vote, you really have to think that this country has reached so far a critical moment that we really have to ask ourselves a question. One question, so simple: you or the country, who comes first? Do you think that's a down-to-earth question? Right?
Yeah.
Today with me is my dear friend, Mr. Chahinian, a political commentator, a strong politician who holds no party line, who loves nothing but America as a country, right? And I believe he and I, we're the like-minded people. So we share our views, we share our concern, our trepidation, probably a word better, about the fact that we are so divided. That's why we use this title for today's show. It is dangerous to keep a country divided. Back to my friend Chris, we checked several points of ovation, points of hugging, right? Points of ripping off the manuscript. Those points show that our politicians showed at least no manner at all. Do you agree with me?
I totally agree. And it was disrespectful and not American way the whole entire show, I have to tell you. And that's why I'm very disappointed. And I believe, Jack, either we can sit down, lay down on the front of TV, have our popcorn, get our beer, have our regular life, or each one of us take responsibility.
Yes.
This reminds me 1930 Germany, when they start getting, I'm not going to talk about personal issue, when the whole country start getting, divided between ideology. And if we can choose that to sit down, have our popcorn, our beer, go to bar, we're free to do that. But this is going to be the
In
end.
the old days, right, when the rivals fight for a duel, right? They fight with a manner.
Of course.
The moment they lose, the loser, and it is loser who announce a winner. You're the winner.
True.
Like that kind of manner, right?
That was America that, you know, we
Okay, I give
know.
you a scene. I give you a scene. If there is a wrestling match, right? At the moment, when the referee pick one hand to declare the winner, and the loser come hugging. What if the loser keeps still on fighting?
That's what it's last 3 years that was happening, honestly.
No.
Because
That's not good. That's not
good.
That's not even
That's
safe.
not acceptable. That's not democratic. That's not our founding father when they put foundation. They had the fear. If we can keep it, how long we can keep it. But this is the time every single American has to take responsibility. Starting from Supreme Court. I think historically Supreme Court has a big responsibility to keep the country from falling apart. I believe the Supreme Court should interfere now, before it gets too late. I believe every Republican, every Democrat, they should think twice before they start attacking the other party. We are all Americans. Yes, if we are some different ideologies, if we don't come together, I'm telling you, if we don't come together, it's going to be shame on us. Believe me, this is like worse than coronavirus. This is worse than corona. It's going to go every city. It's going to go every neighborhood. It's going to go every home.
It's a political virus.
Yeah, it's going to go every home, and it's going to divide our country. You know, I'm warning you. It's going to be not just dark cloud. Dark cloud is going to turn to the blood. If
You're right.
we don't become wise and then
right.
come together, Republican, Democrat, and this Congress, what they are doing, Senator and Representative, I think they should, come together now, not tomorrow. They should go behind the scene, create a committee from both sides, come together, find a solution, because 4 more years Trump like this, it's going to be disaster, or 4 more years Democratic attacking the presidency, it's going to take us to the
One of the 4 who I interviewed says that, believe it or not, you wait and see. Someday it's going to come back to haunt us.
Yep, very soon.
Yeah.
We're not talking about 50 years. That's coming soon.
And some says, with the economic record of growth, and with the unemployment record low record, and the stock market, those evidences, if you want to deny it, well, you better close your eyes. There's nothing in front of you to talk about, right? Okay, so all these, they show the concern. All the 4 I interviewed, they show the concern. I'm so worried. One says, I'm so worried that someday you're talking about 2 different countries.
Absolutely true.
Speaking of 2 different countries, you know what? I want to share a feeling with you. When I was talking to these people, I started feeling that we're talking about different countries, different system. That really worries me so much.
And honestly, we had some bumps in last 250 years in our history.
Yeah.
Lots of bumps.
Uh-huh.
We overcome the Civil War. But this is, I think, it's worse than that, worse than Civil War, because there's a lot of ideological hate now. When you see the Vice President cannot look at the Speaker of the House for an hour and a half, they don't shake hands. The body language says this is declaring a war, my friend. They are declaring war, And if this was happen any other part of the world,
Donald Trump did not even shake his hand with Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, it's declaring.
That was a big eyesore. Right? That's so dirty. That's so not good, right? That is such a so dangerous political signal. And then you return the other torn off. And then what's next? A blow on the nose?
I think no.
A kick in the butt?
No, next we're going to see in the streets, my friend. The blood in streets. So if think, no, that's not going to happen in America.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if, let's assume, what if Donald Trump did shake hands with her?
I think that was symbolic. The tension was there, Jack.
All right.
It was not about one.
No.
I mean,
Yeah, I know the tension. What if Donald Trump put down the tension, shake hands with her, and will she rip off the script? I'm talking about chain reaction.
we don't know, but chain reaction started 3 years ago, Jack. It was not chain reaction for that hour and a half. Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump, last time they talked, it was in November. So President and Speaker of the House for 3 months not speaking, that was
No conversation at all.
And 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the State of the Union, Nancy Pelosi was championing for impeachment at the same chamber. It was a lot of tension before that. But I think instead of asking, what if, I think we should say what we can do now. I think if I am the president today, I call my cabinet right away and talk to my advisor, bring people from outside to listen.
Yeah. That reminds me of one thing. One of the four that I interviewed on an average show basis says that confirmingly that President Donald Trump has extended a friendly hand to the other side. Accept it or not, we'll wait and see. That was a comment given by a very elderly, respected people.
Yeah, today the news is different. Today, 2 people, actually 2 days ago, 2 people escorted from the White House because they testify against Trump, and 70 more going out last coming days. I think maybe I hope that's what's happening behind the scene, dialogue, coming together, like we diffuse the situation between Iran and the United States war. I think we should have a team of experts coming together to diffuse the situation. One of the diffuse situations, probably behind the scene, they should talk about next election, how we're going to finish this election, how this election, if Donald Trump win big, it's going to be major issue in the United States. If Donald Trump lose, it's going to be another issue. So it's going to be messy regardless Donald Trump win or not. I think the issue is not Donald Trump now. The issue is not Democrat. The issue is the country is on the stake. If we just watch, just only mainstream media play the game, we're destroying our country. Because of a couple of, talking points they have, they're going, 1 hour show, trashing one another, CNN trashing one group.
And calling each other, pointing fingers at each other.
And then this is not, right way we're going. I think the solution should be now, coming together behind the scene, choose a pattern, step to diffuse the situation.
I really wish that God could give both of them wisdom. The wisdom being that the only better off way for the United States is each of you back up a bit, right? Each of you started thinking about the common benefit of the United States as a country, not as a party, right? My dear friend, my lovely audience, it really hurts to have it dissect to such a depth. With my friend Chris, who really want to showing the facts is one thing, finding the solution is the other. Let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, we'll see if by putting the weeds between us, these two heads together, can we get a solution, or can we at least find a trail to look for a solution? Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely fellow Americans, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family, designated the brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the #1 craftsman on the global earth. Altogether, the name of Wolfers stands as a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show to my friend Chris Chahinian, former candidate for California Assembly 39 District and a advocate for the community, the lover, I would say, lover to the community and server to the community, who I respect a lot. We are on the subject of talking about the aftermath, I call it aftermath, of the State of the Union address made by President Donald Trump, which, without giving comment of whether that was a good, successful, or bad, or failure speech, we focus on the fact that we're talking about two parties acting like two different countries, acting like two different democracies. So that worries worries us a lot. Our trepidation are in the fact that for our young people, what can they suck from the system, from what they see? Luckily, both my sons are adult now. What if I happen to have a minor, right? What can they learn from what they see, right? So now it comes to a point, do we have a solution, or can we find a solution, or do we have a trail or a possibility to follow in order to find a solution, please?
Well, that's a great question, Jack, but I'm going to remind you, one of the Democratic Party candidate, Andrew Young, in last debate, he said very important, statement. He said, Donald Trump is not the problem. Donald Trump is a symptom, what we having issues. So basically, he said, don't target Donald Trump. Let's look at the core issue. What is the core issue is dividing our country.
All right, okay.
There is core major division in our country between left and right, between white and not white. Proud people, they're going to say, this is a racist statement you're talking, you are dividing. Listen, either we just put our point where the issue is, or we avoid it, we don't name it. There is an issue now. There's one group of people, they hold on to Second Amendment, carrying a weapon because, you know why? Because they fear for their future. That's the reality is. They fear that, one day things are going to turn against them.
And the plus,
this is reality. I can't deny that.
I came to realize when the situation goes worse and worse, being worsened, that our founding fathers did the right thing to vest in us the right of bearing arms. Just to prevent someday when we keep seeing what we see, all right, there goes the weapons.
I'm not pointing at, should we carry arm or not. I'm looking at the more deeper issue, Jack. Why are they holding on for that? There's a fear. We should understand that.
The fear, yes.
The fear. There's a fear that,
yes.
one day, things going to turn against me. So the only thing I have, my government can turn against me. I have my gun to hold on to protect my family. We should understand. And the other side worry that, that if we don't take action, rich is going to be rich, and then so there's an ideological difference. So unless we understand, we can diffuse that fear, and we can say, oh, white people, they, slavery, they're going to bring, yes, those are the past, they did. Now we have an issue. Either we address this or we cover it. No. This is only political issue. It's not, Jack. It's not just like about a bill or proposition to pass. This is about fear deep inside. That's why, there's, when you see division, it's a straight line. The solution, I tell you.
What started putting us in the hell now was that the whole thing was based upon one ideology, that to be politically right. All right? To be politically right, the Supreme Court made a decision that California prisons are overpopulated. Right? To be politically right, California has to do something. Right? To be politically right, they put them on a straight. And to be politically right, they created AB 109 and Proposition 47, Proposition 54-7, and it goes on and on and on and on until Officer Boyer was killed, until another one was killed in San Francisco, goes on and on. There is no end of it. I would say all the disasters started with one point, to be politically right.
And what I add, what you said, that we broke all the norms now. There's no political right or wrong now. I think what we saw last week, it was the end of political right era. That's gone. Now everybody's taking his sword now. He's trying to destroy the other party. That's a danger.
That's super dangerous.
Now the sword is verbal, verbally. Soon it's going to turn.
What if someday not verbally?
That's what I'm saying.
When verbal expressions are never enough, something's going to happen.
It is going to happen if we don't come together, understand the fear of both sides, and come up with a solution. What I suggest, regardless Trump win or lose, I'm not going to say I want Trump to win, or this is not about who's going to win. Now, can we save this republic? That's what Benjamin Franklin. Can we keep this republic? Can we keep our country together? That's the issue now. By the roadmap that we have now, no. But what we can do, President Trump, if he's elected, very next day.
But the problem is that nobody can talk to anybody because they do not even realize what they are seeing in front of them.
That's what I said,
You're saying it is dangerous. I'm saying okay.
I think from this now, as we speak, I think Supreme Court, they should make, serious statement, very serious statement, without, protecting any side, statement that, listen, folks, you guys are playing with fire, period. Mm-hmm. Come under my Supreme Court umbrella. Let's discuss the fear. Let's find a solution. If Donald Trump win, let him make his cabinet, half of them Democrat, and if Democrat win, let's, extend our hand. Let's bring a vice president, a Republican. Let's heal the country. Let's heal the country. Let's pass, let's pass, a gun law that, protect everybody, including, protecting NRA, including, protecting Second Amendment people. Let's pass a law. Let's protect our border, to stop that fear, from one group. Let's protect our border.
I'm being a little naive, all right? And my son says I'm naive. I still want
We're
to
not
be little.
naive, but we love this country. We want to protect this
Yeah.
country.
This is exactly because of from the love, right?
Yeah.
I love the country so much that I sometimes have to be naive a little bit, right? Is it too naive to make a law that president and vice president must be from different parties?
We need the 2/3 of majority of Senate and House by this. Now, it's not going to happen.
All right,
now, we don't have that.
And is it a law, or could it be a law that the House of Representatives and the Senate has to be controlled by each parties?
I think, I know what you're going through. I think we are thinking outside the box now.
I'm trying to make a balance.
We are thinking outside the box now. But I think at this point, we have people, they have wisdom, they have experience. Let's bring those people to the table outside the media. Let them figure out.
Just to give you an example, if the House of Senate is not controlled by Republicans, and now Donald Trump is home. All right, is sent home. So all of a sudden, we need a president, right? That could be Pompeo, all right?
Okay.
Whoever.
Okay.
Pence.
Vice President.
No, Vice Pence. Yeah, that could be Pence. And yet, well, lots of things, chain reaction will happen. So the other day I think, well, probably, well, could that be a law? Could we make a law so let the two houses be controlled always by two parties?
I mean,
Naive. I know it's
we are
naive.
thinking outside the box, but the reality is we need a crusader now. Somebody come and save our country. We cannot have people like, Napoleon type or Hitler type or
Except
Mussolini
Andrew
type.
Yang, has any
Yeah.
of the candidates said anything of that nature?
No, Andrew Yang, I have to say, not because I'm Asian TV, he's the smartest guy on that platform I see, but he doesn't have a chance because of our system that we have. You have to have billionaires behind you, like Peter George. He has a billionaire dumping billions. All of a sudden, the guy from Indiana, mayor that he has only 5,000 votes, becomes our president. No, that's not acceptable. Billionaires coming, throwing their billions of dollars to get our presidency. No, that's not the way we heal our country.
All right.
Or going to left. We are in serious mess. We are serious mess. We're talking here.
So it looks that there is no solution at all.
Based on what we saw, no.
No solution.
The solution is today, if the Supreme Court get involved, behind the scene maybe, not in the media, behind the scene.
For the Supreme Court to get involved, though, you have to have a sample case.
What I'm saying,
You have the standard sample case.
Supreme Court, they have some restriction, but they can
Interfere.
They can interfere. They can interfere. They can
All right.
start the bloodshed. They can start the war coming again. They can do a lot of things in their power. But and every single person should take responsibility and helping this situation. Otherwise, one day we're gonna have like East Germany, East and West Germany, or North or South Korea. We're gonna have the same thing in the United
We're
States.
talking about left or right United States.
Or
Right. Okay, my dear friends, we're a little over time, but I'm so glad that this thing been on me for about a week, being kind of lifted off, even though we have not found a solution, but to share with you about the trepidation, to wake up, call people, well, we did its worth anyway. All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you
God
for
bless you.
sharing, my brother.